Good morning. Good morning. As you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here as I get everything going. Go live. It takes me a minute, but hey, that's okay, right? And it's interesting because I saw somebody posting the other day in one of my groups that now they couldn't go live in Facebook with the streaming service. And I responded, well, I do it all the time. So there's just a few little tricks that you have to do to make it work, and you can. So there we are. All right. So I need to pull this up on my phone. I was forgetting one little detail that helps me out tremendously. So hold on a second. And the reason that I like to pull this up on my phone is because sometimes people are watching and I know I'm talking to someone even though they're not saying anything. And it just makes me feel like it's a good use of my time. Otherwise, I feel like I'm just talking into the void. Good morning. Good morning. As you get here, say hello and let me know that you're here. If you want to join into the conversation, I'm just going to go ahead and jump into today's affirmation because I know I say this all the time, but I really like this one. All right. All right. So today's affirmation is I rise in harmony with this day, grounded in truth and open to joy. One of the reasons that this one came about is I'll just share is this morning I get up in the morning and I take the first thing I do once I get dressed, of course, is I take the dog out for a walk. And so one of the things that I've found is that, a lot of times I'll be reminiscing over things. And so this morning, I don't know, I had a really good night's sleep. I woke up way before the clock went off and I just laid and cuddled in the bed and I just enjoyed the time. I said some prayers. I did some little short meditation. I was just feeling really good, right? So when I went out for my walk, for those that aren't aware, for a while I was having an issue with my hip, and it was like very, very painful. And I kept thinking, oh, I'm doing all these stretches and these exercises and different things to kind of get it back to where it's supposed to be. And this morning, as I was walking, I thought, this walk feels so comfortable. And I love the fact that it's a beautiful morning. We had really big storms last night, so the air wasn't quite as hot. Even though it was humid, it felt really good. And so as I was walking, I found myself saying, thank you, God, for such a beautiful day, and thanking my body for the fact that it was functioning well. And so I was talking to God, I was talking to my body, and I found that it was really making me happy and joyful to realize that my communication with both was really a good place. And that as I was walking, I could appreciate the world and I could appreciate my little section of the world and I could appreciate God for all that he does. And then I could appreciate my body for all it does. And the fact that now I've worked with my hip and because it's, one thing that happens is not just the problem, it's something else that creates it, kind of like our mindset, right? Because we have something that's going on. Let's say, for instance, somebody wants to lose weight. The problem is not usually just what they ate. It's something that they're thinking and doing and eating, right? And so it was the same with my body. It wasn't just my hip. It was my feet. It was my back. It was my shoulders. And it was all these little things that started causing an issue with my hip. And it was like those things I didn't notice, but the hip I noticed. And so I started working on it. So this morning I could just feel the joy and the happiness just kind of emanating from me, and it felt so good that I was thinking about it a lot, of the difference in how it felt waking up, how it felt going on that walk, and all of those things, right? So that's why I thought I have a harmony, right? It is the harmony with our world, with our bodies, with our thoughts, our feelings, that grounds us in the truth of who we are. I mean, you are capable of so much more when you can get grounded in all this, right? And then it just leaves you open to joy in so many places. Because let's be honest, if you're hurting and not feeling good, if you're sitting with nothing, no place to live, no anything like that, it's hard to find the joy, right? But the thing is, the joy comes first, and then everything else works out. And so I was feeling so joyful and so appreciative, right? And so that's where this affirmation came from. And so I would love to know, are you feeling joy this morning? And I see I've got some people watching. So if you would love to join in, just go ahead and give me a little heart. If you're like, I know some people show up from work while they're at work and they can't actually be typing something out, but you could send me a little heart. But if you're in a place where you can answer, just say yes. If you're feeling it, right? All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and grab the journal prompt. And for you guys as well, give me a heart, give me a follow. So I've got a camera going on over here beside me, so that this is going to be on TikTok. And I'm going to be changing the way I'm doing things in the group for July. So I would love it. Anybody that is here live, anybody that's watching the replay, go and join me on TikTok, because I'm going to be doing a lot more on there. So when you get to TikTok, it's Enlightened Peach. No, the Enlightened.p. That's what it is. It wouldn't allow me to put the whole thing in there. So that's what we got. But join me. I have a couple of different ones, but that's the one I primarily use. So join me, follow me, and I'm going to be doing some live, sharing some of the tools and everything that I use in everyday life. I'm going to be doing more with affirmations and the journal prompts and little things every day. So definitely join me over there. If you're not on TikTok, you need to get on TikTok, because I'm telling you, the amount of information on there will just blow your mind. Now, some of it may be things you don't really care about, but that's okay. You can filter it into what you want. And then I'm also, as most of you know, I'm on YouTube, and I'm at Vicky Sue Poole. So join me over there too, right? But a lot of my live stuff is going on TikTok. All right. So the journal prompt is, what truth within me wants to be honored today? And how can I make space for its expression? So what truth within me wants to be honored today? Now, this could be, there could be a plethora of things that are wanting to be honored, because if you haven't been really tapping into your inner guidance, your God voice, and you haven't taken the time to actually extract that information, there might be a lot in there that's wanting to be birthed. And so, as I always recommend, you take some time in silence and you can tap into so much more. So right now, let's go back to our affirmation. I'm looking at the time. I've got a client to get to, so I'm trying to be mindful of the time. All right. So our affirmation is, I rise. Just feel like when you say that, you just kind of sit up straighter, right? Or you walk taller, because man, oh man, when you rise, there's so much that you can feel. There's so much that you can share, right? Because we share our vibration everywhere we go, right? Like when you walk into a room and there's certain people that you just know, don't want to go over there. It's because they have a vibration that's not congruent with yours. So when you're in a wonderful place in your vibration and you walk into a room, the only people that are going to come around you are the ones that match your vibration. And doesn't that feel good to know? Because the thing that we learn is that when we tend to be attracting some of these people that are a little bit seedy or a little bit needy or a little bit taking advantage of you and that kind of thing, if we're attracting those people, if that's the people that show up in our world, the place that we need to be working is in here, because it's the vibration you're putting out. And we don't do it consciously, right? It's just whatever's going on in here. So as you work on this inner your vibration changes. And it's almost like a force field. That's what I like to say. It's a force field that doesn't allow people that are not going to be good for you to even come close. So you don't have to do all that, tossing people around and all that stuff. They're just going to the people that might be in your world that are not good for you, that aggravate you, that you tolerate because you think you're supposed to, whatever it is. Those people are going to start moving away from you, not in a bad way. It may be that you just don't connect as often. I've got people in my life over the years that it wasn't like one day we said, oh, we don't want to be friends. It was just like it just kind of gradually, I would move this way and they would move that way. And it got where if we saw each other in passing, we would connect, but we didn't search each other out. And so it's a natural progression as you're growing and learning and tapping into who you really are. You start drawing in the people and the experiences that honor that. So keep growing, keep learning, keep becoming who you choose to be, right? So all these processes help. So this affirmation, make sure you put it on your index card, the screensaver on your phone, your sticky notes, put it on a piece of paper, stick it to your fridge, put it on a mirror with a chalk marker. I love doing that, especially in my bathroom. So anytime I go into the bathroom, I can see it, right? So that is always, always wonderful. So the affirmation is, I rise in harmony with this day, grounded in truth and open to joy. And the reason I said this day instead of every day is because the only thing we can control is us. But there's something said for being in the moment and not constantly looking forward or constantly looking back. So it's wonderful to tap into this space right here, right now. Grounded in truth and open to joy this day, right here. And then tomorrow you can do it again. I rise in harmony with this day. But we do it. We can still look toward the future, right? Because, we want to envision what we want, but we don't want to spend so much time over there that we don't enjoy now, is kind of what I'm getting at. We can have all these aspirations and these visions and these meditations all about the future. But at some point, we really, really want to be in harmony with now, this day, grounded in truth and open to joy. And then our journal prompt. Hold on a second. All right. And as I always recommend, you get out your notebook or your journal, and you write the date, the affirmation, the journal prompt. And there's a reason for that, right? The reason is we want to be able to look back over time and say, that's what I was thinking about that day. And look how much I've had growth in my process. Look how much of that has come true, right? Because we don't always see that growth that has happened. And we can almost give ourselves a hard time for not having grown as much as we thought we should have. we shoulds all over ourselves, right? And so having this as a way to monitor um, and celebrate is beautiful, so that we can acknowledge, because what is it we always say? A 1% change every day creates exponential growth. 1% is imperceptible in the moment, but man, oh man, over time, amazing, right? So you write it down, the date, the affirmation, the journal prompt, and then you say it out loud. You give it some emotion, some feeling, right? And then when you put feeling to the words, your subconscious mind is standing at attention and looking and saying, okay, this is important. Let me look at it. So then you're asking the question, what truth within me wants to be honored today? And how can I make space for its expression? So what you're going to do is you're going to set a timer for 10 to 15 minutes. And in that 10 to 15 minutes, you're just going to focus on your breath. What you're really trying to do is quiet your mind a little bit so that you can hear that inner guidance, that God voice, that intuition, your subconscious mind speaking to you, because it's talking to you all the time, all the time. And most of the time, we have so much chatter going on in our heads that we don't hear it. So how many times have you had a fleeting thought that you should or shouldn't do something, and because it was so quickly gone, you didn't do it? And then later you looked back and said, oh, I should have known, right? And it's because you haven't exercised that place of being in the silence where you can hear it with more gusto, I guess. You can actually catch it and pay attention a little bit more. And it's such a powerful thing to look at, right? So you spend your 10 to 15 minutes in silence. And as we are human, most of us anyway, right? But because of that, the chatter is going to start happening just because you got quiet. We try to fill voids, right? And it's like when you get into a conversation with someone and there's this long stretch of silence, you feel like you're supposed to fill it, right? And it's the same when we're trying to get into silence and in the now. Your brain, your mind starts trying to fill that silence. And we want to focus on our breath. So you just breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And then if that doesn't keep you centered enough, then what I like to do is I will listen for sounds in my space. So like right now, I can hear the ceiling fan. And if I wasn't talking, I could hear the hum of the computer. I can hear my chimes going off downstairs. Sometimes I can hear one of the animals, the cat or the dog, run past the door because I got my door closed, right? Sometimes I can hear somebody doing yard work outside. But you just focus on those sounds because your brain cannot think two thoughts at the same time. It stops and starts, right? So as your mind starts venturing out in Neverland, you just bring it back to sounds or to listening to your breath. And that just quiets the mind a little bit so that you can let your subconscious mind really mull over this. So that when the timer goes off and you pick up your pen or your pencil and you start writing, so much more is going to come out that wouldn't have if you didn't tap into the silence. So the first part, what truth within me wants to be honored today? And if you haven't been doing this a lot, there may be a lot of things, a lot of truths within you that have been dying to get out. Just write down everything that shows up. No judgment. No filtering, no nothing. Just write it down. It's just for you anyway. And then after you finish writing out as much as you can actually say, okay, is there more? And then see if you can write some more because you want to exercise that part of you, right? And then the second part, how can I make space for its expression? So all those things, there may be one that is really wanting to be expressed first. So you can kind of look at it a little bit and say, okay, which one of these wants to be expressed first? And then it's almost like you'll have this intuitive hit. One of them will kind of pop into your vision quicker. It's kind of like, you know, how when you've ever done those things where it's a word search, and they will say, you know, whatever the 3 words that pop out first, those are the ones that are going to be what you need for today, right? And you can look, and all of a sudden these words will just start popping up, right? So it's the same thing. What needs to be made space and needs to be expressed will automatically pop up. And so you've got a list. Take the first one. Go ahead and look at it. How can you make space and for its expression? What do you need to do? And sometimes it's just honoring it, right? Just honoring whatever that is. And then sometimes it may mean that you want to research about it a little bit and see, what do you know about it that you want to share? And maybe you're sharing with someone you know, maybe you're sharing like here, maybe you're just doing it for yourself. It doesn't matter. Just make sure that you're looking at each one of those things. So you might want to come back, if you've got your list, the one that needs to be expressed today, work on that one. And then you could take that same note and look tomorrow. Okay, these are the things that wanted to be expressed. Which one wants to be expressed today? And then just see. And so you might even find that there's enough there that you could go through the whole month of July. We're almost into July, and picking each one that wants to be expressed. I mean, wouldn't that be amazing to have all of these things that have been wanting to be expressed in your world and in your life coming out of you? And you're honoring that and doing it every single day. I mean, when you're doing that, the amazingness that will start attracting to you is just like off the charts. Allow it to happen. So just give it everything you got, right? And enjoy it. Enjoy the process. Enjoy getting to know yourself just a little bit deeper. And as always, if there's something that you need help with, because I help people with this all the time, then just reach out to me. You can catch me on my Linktree, linktr.ee/Vicki Poole. And on there is a way that you can schedule a call with me. You can look at some of the hypnosis recordings that I've done that are on free on there. There's my book on there. There's so much amazingness on there that you can connect with me. You could, and I would love to have you join me on TikTok. Make sure, if you're not following me already, go ahead and give me a follow. TheEnlightened.p on TikTok. And so have a day today that is filled with expression of who you really are. And maybe you're not sure who that is, but it's there. You just got to uncover it. All right. So you guys have an amazing day and an amazing weekend. And I will see you on Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then I'll tell you a little bit more about how all this changes that are going to be made in the group, how a lot of that's going to be, how that's going to look, and just let you know. And I so appreciate you guys, and you just don't know how much. All right. So like I said, have a day filled with amazing expression of who you are.